All right, I hope everyone's got their plates all settled in. Uh, so I'm going to keep the information easy. I mean, just going to keep it standard, basic. Start off with what's basically going on in the digital space. Why is it important to invest in the bottom of the funnel? Let me first start with introducing myself, get to the names as well. My name is Bharat Sharma. I am one of the co-founders for SitePlug. SitePlug belongs to a larger entity called Affinity Global Inc. We started off in Chicago about 17 years back, and we specialize in building ad tech services and solutions for both advertisers and publishers. I mean, SitePlug is one of our performance products, and which is used heavily by brands and agencies to boost their bottom line. What I mean by that is purely drive conversions, drive performance. And in this presentation, I'm going to basically talk about how increasing touch points beyond traditional search. I'm going to keep using the word traditional search because it means Google, but you don't want to take the enemy's name on the board, right? So increasing touch points beyond traditional search can actually boost your bottom line. So that's what this presentation is about. Let's go into the basics. As I mentioned, I mean, marketing funnel. Since we're all having lunch here, we're just going to go back, recap, go to school. This is exactly how the funnel looked 20 years back. It's still a triangle. We still put money on top. It still starts flowing downwards. But what's happened with every passing year is technology is evolving. The way we are reaching consumers are shifting. I mean, like previously, top of the funnel, the most exciting stuff was TV and broadcasters. Broadcasters, now it's connected TV. Middle of the funnel, it's app and retargeting, which was Play Store. Now it's moving into third-party app stores. It's moving into zero-party data to kind of use to kind of help with retargeting. Bottom of the funnel, it was SEM and SEO all throughout. Now it's moving into AI, Chat GPT, Perplexity. I mean, different ways, or maybe privacy as well. So the thing is, the funnel is still the same, but the way we have to reach these consumers are evolving. And as marketers, we need to keep evolving. I mean, that's literally going back to the basics in terms of why the bottom funnel is so important for our vertical, which is retailers, right? I mean, getting back into numbers, like digital ad spends in the US is booming. Today, as of date, it's about $303 billion, expected to continue growing about 10% CAGR. The $303 billion that is currently the US digital ad spends, the verticals that are contributing to that spend, retail is actually one of the largest. About 30% of their money is flowing in through retail brands and retail as a vertical. And let's go a little deeper into where they are spending. I mean, out of the $88 billion, most of their money is going into performance solutions. I mean, over the years, this number has actually gone up because every retailer is trying to turn profitable. For a retailer to eventually turn out or manage the economics, for every dollar spent, they want their return on ad spends to be profitable. Unlike an auto or a CPG as a vertical, their priority is to create awareness and reach. Whereas for retailers, they're heavily invested into turning profitable for every transaction that's happening. Hence, every retailer eventually spends money at the bottom of the funnel. So I mean, the context I'm trying to set up is, bottom of the funnel is extremely important for retail as a vertical. In terms of the bottom funnel, this is again traditional search. You can club this out as Google. Approximate Google revenues for the last 1-2 years expected to grow in the range of about $200 billion by the next 3 to 4 years. So Google's expecting a 10% growth in CAGR year on year in search revenue. This is purely search revenue that Google is that's information that's publicly available. And the funny part is their users are declining. I mean, and if you kind of look up this information online, every year Google is losing about 1 to 2% share, and through every moving year, that is going to kind of pace up. So for us marketers, this graph should be the other way around. We should be having our sales moving up and our cost moving down. But as per information available, I mean, the cost is expected to keep increasing, and the users that we are reaching is expected to keep reducing and eventually your CAC is going to get impacted. So who's going to pay for this impact is obviously all of you guys. Um, and so that's what the problem is. I mean, if we are not looking beyond traditional search, we will, our sheets will be looking similar to something like this, where our costs and our CAC keep moving up with every passing year. So we are just basically spending more to reach the same consumer. Yeah. Now, in terms of where these users are moving, I mean, there are multiple, it's not just one reason. I mean, today consumers are shifting because of reasons like privacy. They are shifting because they are softwares and products like BNPL applications available that make it easier for a consumer to buy or purchase a product. They are AI-driven services that actually solve a, a transactional problem for that consumer. There is retail media. There is a lot of different things that's actually happening. And it's not just one single thing due to which is actually impacting that user from shifting away from traditional search. So there are multiple different things, and to kind of reach each of these users, you need to can invest in multiple softwares and solutions. I mean, that's what I'm trying to highlight, right? So it's not just one single reason why these users are shifting. And what's happening is eventually you guys are paying more. I mean, if you're in terms of data as per available last year, overall, in that $88 billion, the CAC for the top 100 retailers went up by 34%. And if we have to just map this out on a 5-year CAGR graph, and if we continue doing what we are doing, they're just constantly investing in traditional search, SEM, SEO, trying to find methods of making that work, it, your CAC is going to continue growing. I mean, it's expected to go up by at least 2x in the next 5 years. I mean, if we continue doing what we have been doing in the past many years, yeah. So what's the impact of this? It's a leaky funnel. You're constantly putting money on the top of the funnel, and consumers are shifting, which is resulting in your CAC increasing. And there's so many different softwares that you have to reach to solve this problem. And as a marketer, I mean, there are two emotions. If you know this problem as a marketer, I mean, that's a single emotion, which is anger. I mean, if I was a marketer, I would be angry. If I was aware that every time I'm typing my brand name, I'm having a competitor ad show up. And if you don't know this problem as a marketer, I mean, you need to find out why your campaigns are not scaling. So let's talk about if you know this problem as a marketer. Yeah. So, I mean, the first thing that we would do is eventually go back to the whiteboard, figure out, okay, fine, how do I solve this problem? With this CAC increasing, users moving, there are about 10,000 plus software applications where we need to kind of promote ourselves on to solve that 20% problem. And when we kind of go look into it deeper, I mean, we come up with things like, okay, there's technology issues, there are bandwidth issues, there are budget issues, there are money issues. There's so many different issues to just solve the 20% problem. So the big question for a marketer is actually, is it worth it? Is there, I mean, today, if we eventually are extremely driven and we were like, okay, fine, we'll work 16 hours a day and make sure that we are able to cover all these different softwares ourselves, you would have problems in ensuring that you are reaching the right consumers because of the complications like keyword, technology, ML, AI, different softwares, etc. So that's exactly where SitePlug comes in the picture. What we do is we are able to increase touch points outside of traditional search and plug your leakages and eventually make sure that you aren't losing money at the bottom of the funnel. So what that means is we are finding new ways of reaching the customer outside of traditional search, which is basically giving you a competitive advantage and making you guys future ready. So that's exactly what SitePlug does. We are not here, I mean, I'm not here talking about Google or Yahoo or Bing or any of that. I'm talking about technologies or formats that exist outside of traditional search. Is the problem large enough? As of date, it's a growing problem. It's today 10%, expected to be a 20% problem. And if you're not future ready, there is going to be a competitor who is going to take advantage of your leaky funnel. So quickly talking about, I mean, SitePlug as a platform, it's a search platform. We are helping you find a solution for this 20% fragmented market. And we have three different ways in which we have done this, three different approaches. So when a consumer has an intent to shop, I mean, there are three different notions that happens. So when I'm on the web and I want to buy a comb for my lovely hair, for example, and my first user experience would be I will open a browser and try to look for a comb on the web. Similarly, on the app side, on the mobile application part, you'll open your Play Store and then you look for similar products within the app ecosystem. Yeah. So that is pre-search. You're opening these two applications largely, and you're looking for the product. During search is basically when you are searching for a similar product and you are getting recommendations within your browsers, or you're getting recommendations within your app stores. I mean, there are two journeys. They're not, believe me, they are nothing more than the web and the app that exists as of date so far. And in within these two journeys, I mean, there is, you can capture the intent of the consumer while they are searching as well. And then after search, what post search means is basically when the consumer has made a search, and they could make a search on multiple software applications like BNPL apps. They could be completing the search on privacy first browsers. They could be completing a search on keyboard apps. They could be completing a search on their independent app stores. They could be completing the search on their launchers to find the right app relevant to their keyword. So these are the three different ways in which we have um, found solutions to kind of capture the consumer intent. And we have done this in the way. So for example, during pre-search, we are working with some of the largest browsers in the world, having quick access icons. So when a consumer opens the browser, your brand is sitting right there in front of the consumer. That's on the web as an experience. Similar to that on launchers. So today when I am searching for something on my iPhone, for example, I switch down, you will see these quick access icons. Now, on every Android device, we can control the experience of which brands can be recommended to those users before they make a search. It's called zero state on your launchers, the most recommended apps within your mobile phone. -1 screens, again, the most recommended apps within your mobile phone can be recommended to consumers in the form of sponsored ads. Then we have search engines, like this is a classic example, not in search engine, and there are various other privacy first search engines that exist that are coming up in the market. And we have these quick access icons in front of the consumer before they start their search journey. So this is what pre-search looks like, 4 different solutions, and the number of softwares that exist in each of this kind of go upwards of 100 plus. So that's one. During search, I mean, as consumers are searching now within your keypads, we can have a recommended brand, or if a consumer is searching for products, we can kind of recommend that within your mobile space or within the desktop ecosystem. We are recommending while consumers are searching on the browsers as well. Within BNPL apps, while consumers search, we can recommend the most relevant brand to the consumers. Same for browsers as well. You're working with some of the largest browsers. So if you're looking for a relevant brand, we can recommend. Basically, we are preventing the consumer from landing on Google search. And why? Because it's just going to increase your CAC. Okay, so eventually, if you can capture the user's attention before they reach Google SERP, it's always going to eventually result into a profitable bottom line for you guys. And last but not the least, search engines. I mean, there are lots of search engines that we work with, but this is an example. When consumers are searching, we're recommending the most relevant brand to the consumer. And finally, post-search. I mean, when consumers are searching on browsers, which are SEM placements that are not available through Google's ecosystem, is what we monetize. Mainly privacy first softwares, mainly privacy first browsers, mainly independent browsers is what we are monetizing in the form of SEM placements. We are doing this across search engines. We are doing this across content sites as consumers are searching, hyperlinking content sites. This is our technology. They're using our ad servers to basically create these buy now buttons. And again, domain correction. So 3 different approaches to kind of cover up a large ecosystem. I would say the 10 to 20% ecosystem, and that's actually not just spread across just 2 or 3 apps. There are over 20,000 different partners that you can integrate with, and that's what SitePlug does. Today we integrate with some of the largest browsers, BNPL apps, content websites, search engines, keyboard apps, launchers, handset manufacturers, independent browsers. So we're working with all of them. We're trying to simplify media buying outside of traditional search, which is actually really complex because there's no technology that is unifying a solution around the same. So this is what SitePlug does in terms of technology. This is an infographic. It's much more complex than what it shows here. But what this means is, when a consumer is making a search input, we have SDKs and APIs integrated across all these different softwares, be it alternate search engines, be it keyboard apps, buy now pay later apps. So imagine the number of combinations. Now, the consumers could be making a search on desktop or mobile that's spread across over 20,000 plus apps into about over 1 million plus keywords on a daily basis. I mean, that's a complex problem. It's way more complex than what it looks. What our technology does is identifies the user intent on a real-time basis and recommend the most relevant brand to the consumers as they're searching across all these softwares, and eventually drive performance, leads, sales, conversions. So we are Affinity Global is a full funnel marketing solution platform. We do have multiple solutions under our brand name, which actually solve a reach problem, a CTR problem. But just talking about SitePlug, it's a full funnel, bottom funnel marketing solution where once a consumer has an intent, we are capturing the intent in every journey around the consumer. Yeah. So that's what a technology looks like. I mean, in terms of scale, we have been in business in the last 7 years. We started off small. These are actual GMV numbers that we are driving. We're driving $1.3 billion in GMV sales, just SitePlug, through our customers. We are growing by over 40% year on year. Numbers are large. We have over 2,500 brands working with us. I think something we're proud of is our retention rate. Once the brand comes and works with us, they see the value, they don't leave our system. So it's all about testing these solutions, testing something new, and it does drive consistent results. I mean, there is a ROAS there that you kind of averagely see. It's usually better than Google. That's why brands have that high retention rate, spending money with us. The reason I can give you all so much of depth is we are the server for most of these browsers, BNPL apps, placements. We are helping them monetize or create additional sources of revenue in the form of either better monetization, better tools, better data, all of that. So they use our services not just for media, but they use our services for various other things. And we kind of club that with media. And hence, we are able to drive such stellar results. In terms of the $1.3 billion, the biggest vertical for us is e-com. Last year, we have driven over $900 million in sales, $900 million in sales in the e-com as a vertical. We are better than the industry benchmarks. I mean, again, traditional search averagely 2.5 to 3.5%. These alternate sources of traffic are actually converting over 5%. That is helping you all boost the bottom line, eventually turn profitable. I mean, if you can drive better ROAS than traditional search, that'll do wonders to your profitability. Yeah. So this is exactly, and there's less competition here at the moment. Always remember that with retailers, since all of them are investing at the bottom of the funnel because of their business, because of the transactional business nature, uh, for every keyword, like again, going back to my hair, if I'm going to look for a comb on Google today, I will get at least 100 retailers trying to sell me the same product. So the question is, how do we stand out? And one of the solutions is try to be there or different places where consumers are searching. And this is one way that these traditional e-commerce companies like your Walmarts or Macy's are investing money into, and they're seeing consistent results and better than industry benchmarks. Hence, they are investing more and more money consistently into these alternate solutions, and not just e-com. Yeah. It works for travel. We've done about $250 million in sales for travel across entertainment, across finance. We are pretty much global. It's not just we're not just solving problems for North America. We have access to over 1 billion users across the globe with all of our softwares that we're working with. We're 100% transparent, so we are doing something opposite to what traditional search is doing. They're becoming a black box. We want to be the white box, pretty much. So PMAX is something exactly opposite to what we want to kind of achieve, along with the scale. And so kind of to summarize, 4 things that we're trying to achieve with SitePlug: better reach, lower CAC for your brands, with the help of additional touch points, better conversion rates with AI and ML integrated into this across over 20,000 plus software applications, and transparency to kind of increasing incrementality. So these are the 4 core pillars on which SitePlug works. And I mean, pretty much that's my presentation. But last thing is, if you guys have any questions, more than happy to share. So we have a lot of information. We have a lot of data in terms of what is working for retailers, what's working for fashion, what's working for home, what's working for other verticals. More than happy to share that information with you guys over the course of the next 2 days. And I have my team here, Sarah and Frank. If you guys have any more questions, I can address them right now or through the next 2 days. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for your attention. Yeah.